Hello Summoners and welcome back to Phaeology, the study of Fire Emblem heroes. My name is Deku and I will be your Phaeologist for today. It's hardly uncommon for IS to introduce a character on a seasonal banner before giving us their base version. It happened with Charlotte, with Shigure, with Ileana, but there are still plenty of units who haven't gotten that base version. At the time of making this video, I count 46 to be precise. 46 precious units, loved by many, but without a definitive form to call their own. This series will be an attempt to balance those numbers over the course of however long this takes. I hope to show a theory-crafted build for each and every one of these units still stuck in Alt Hell. Some of these builds will be by me, and others by various scripters, collaborators, and other community members. In our inaugural episode, I want to focus on the most despicable of omissions, those heroes stuck in double Alt Hell, where we have two versions of the unit in the game, and yet neither of them are a base version. Why do you have to hurt them like this, IS? They're clearly popular enough to be in the game multiple times. Why must you hold them back? Let's find out how these characters might look if IS gave them their due diligence. Our first unit is Inigo, Blade of Flowers, from Fire Emblem Awakening and Fates. He exists in the game as both a Year 1 festival unit, and more recently, as a spring unit. He does kind of have a base form, as Laszlo, his Fates equivalent, but since the game counts them as separate characters, Inigo is still included in this list. He is the son of the shy dancer Olivia. He traveled back in time in order to prevent the death of his mother and the ascent of Grima. When he was young, Inigo was actually as shy as his mother, but rebounded stronger than anyone expected, turning him into a little bit of a womanizer. That said, he still has a noble streak, and is more than happy to aid those in need, especially if they're a beautiful young maiden. This build was done by Moon, a longtime moderator of the Phaeology Discord server. She imagined Inigo as a sword infantry unit, reminiscent of the mercenary class. He has 51 HP, 42 attack, 43 speed, 26 defense, and 23 resistance, with super assets in attack and speed, and a super flaw in resistance. He is, by all means, a glass cannon sword user, putting him in the same vein as units like Brave Marth and Yenfei. His weapon is the Rose Edge, a personal sword that grants him a flat speed bonus and an accelerated special cooldown. It also grants him null follow-up and, if he's nearby another ally, a bonus to attack and speed, while also giving him and allies within 2 spaces a new effect, Arms Thrift. This is a skill originally from Awakening that, in this Theorycrafted Heroes incarnation, acts as a mix of Special Fighter and Guard, depending on what phase the skill activates on. Personally, I think he's just showing off, but as long as it keeps him working at his best, I won't complain. This weapon is designed for him to use his special more often, given the idea of a unit with high luck. His initial special is Soul, which, when paired with Arms Thrift and the accelerated cooldown from the Rose Edge, will always be ready to go if it keeps triggering in the player phase. The weapon actually has a lot of references to his base games within it. For a start, Arms Thrift was the class skill of Mercenaries in Awakening. This one actually took a lot of working to add to heroes, as weapons in this game don't have durability. But I personally like the redesign of this skill she went for. The attack and speed bonuses to allies are a reference to his personal skill from Fates, Fancy Footwork. He also comes with Distant Salvo, the yet-to-be-added distant counter version of Duo Crom's Close Salvo, as well as Null Sea Disrupt and Defense Res Menace. He's designed as a duo phase unit, with player phase stats, enemy phase skills, and a weapon that works both ways. While going with the dual phase build isn't always optimal, it makes him very versatile, and I think that suits him just fine. The introduction of Arms Thrift also gives him a niche that holds him separate from every other unit currently in this game. And next we have Xane is a rather mysterious figure from the Arcanea titles. Before I go much further, I will warn of some spoilers for new Mystery of the Emblem in the upcoming description. If you don't want to hear those, skip forward to the timestamp shown on screen now. Much like Loki, he has the ability to take on the forms of other people. However, Unlike her, who uses her powers for chaos, this puckish trickster has a more noble purpose, serving the Archsage Gato, and under his orders, Marth as well. While not much is known about his backstory, it is revealed that he's actually a member of the Divine Dragon Tribe, like Tiki, Naga, and Gato. He destroyed his Dragonstone in order to protect himself from the degeneration that so frequently plagues his kind. Despite his outwardly playful demeanor, Xane actually holds a distrust of humans, after seeing how they treated his draconic brethren throughout the years. That said, this distrust does not evolve into a full-on hate like it did for Emperor Medius. That said, Marth seems to be above this reproach. Xane holds him in high esteem, and uses playful pet names like Princey when referring to him. Currently, he exists in Heroes twice as a colorless unit. First as a colorless tome in a Halloween banner a few years back, and again more recently as a staff infantry on the Hitari banner. This time, however, he stands as a sword infantry unit. Xane starts with a sword of some kind in every game he's playable in, and in the original NES and SNES versions of the Arcanea titles, he can use that weapon while untransformed. While that was changed in the DS remakes, his joining with a sword remained. As such, that's where we begin with him in this video. He comes with 53 HP, 17 attack, 45 speed, 26 defense, and 41 resistance. He has super assets in HP and resistance, and super flaws in attack, speed, and defense. Not exactly a combative stat line, but anyone who's used Xane before will tell you that the only stat that really matters is HP. Everything else is much more flexible. This flexibility mostly comes from his personal assist skill, Imitate, which allows him to take on the stats for whatever ally he targets for one turn. It also grants him another action afterwards so he can actually make use of those stats in the player phase. Note that, even if his base stats are higher than those of the ally he targets, he will still take on the lower stat from those allies, so be careful. This is not treated as a bonus, just a straight change in stats. This is somewhat similar to how his transformation worked with the Halloween alt, but it is much more purposeful and closer to his home titles. In order to supplement that, we come to his special weapon, the Freelance Blade. During combat, if he's within 2 spaces of an ally with any stat higher than his current stat value, he gets a +4 in combat buff to those stats. It also gives him an extra 5 maximum HP, because like I said, that's really the only stat that matters for him. He also comes with Attack Res Unity and Attack Defense Oath 3, both of which reward him for remaining near allies. He also has Luna as a special, to give him even a chance to do damage with his ridiculously low base attack. His voice actor here remains Brandon McInnes. I also want to see him drawn in the style of Toby, with such bangers as Azel, Both Fallen Morgans, and Resplendent Marth. And our final unit is... Our final unit is Dorothea, Middle Frank Maiden, from the Fire Emblem Three Houses game. An opera singer and a member of the Black Eagles House, Dorothea has strong opinions about the noble elite ruling Fodlan. Currently, she exists in the game as a summer unit, and is the lead of a Plesian Harmonized hero, alongside Lean. She has consistently placed well in Choose Your Legends events, ending up in the top 20 overall in 2 of the 3 voting events she's been available in. She's an extremely popular character from a very popular game, and is really the worst offender in this whole video because of that. This build was done by Conquest, one of the Theology scripters. It introduces her as a Blue Tome infantry unit, reminiscent of the Dancer class in Three Houses. She has 45 HP, 32 attack, 42 speed, 24 defense, and 32 resistance, with super assets in speed and resistance, but a super flaw in attack. Dorothea very much is a support unit, and her highest stats, speed and resistance, are in place mostly so she can survive long enough to aid her allies, rather than to do damage herself. Her weapon is the Operatic Script, a 14 might tome that grants bonuses to speed and resistance, and allows nearby allies to heal after combat. It also comes with a built-in Wings of Mercy 3, and if she's near an ally within Wings of Mercy range, she grants that unit a Spectrum +4 buff during combat. In addition, if she uses Sing on an ally, she grants bonus AA to that ally. This works in tandem with her new B skill, Chroma Dance 2, which grants a spectrum bonus of +4 to any ally she sings to. Alongside those skills, she has Defense Res Bond 4 to better keep herself alive, and Cross Spur Defense to provide even more buffs to her allies, with proper positioning. She is of course voiced by Allegra Clark, who has been her voice actor up to this point, alongside voicing Ethlyn, Carla, and Shamir. The artist chosen was Azutaro, who has drawn lots of units. If I had to point out a few of my favorites, I'm going to say Duo Sigurd, Legendary Lelina, and Legendary Claude. Overall, this Theorycraft leads to a rather strong dancer. While she does have some competition in the form of Rinea and Shigure, she is set apart by her extremely powerful support weapon. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed giving these heroes stuck in Alt Hell their time in the sun. What were your favorite builds? Would you summon for these units? Let us know in the comments below. Also be sure to mention what Theorycrafts you want to see in the future. And if you enjoy Theorycrafting yourself, come and join our Discord server. We have a decently sized community of Theorycrafters, and we're always happy to take in more. With that, thank you for watching, and remember to schedule another appointment with your Phaelodus really soon. Goodbye.